All right. We are live. We're just gonna jump right in. Y'all know what this is about. It's me and it's a death battle, and we're gonna watch it. No need to delay anything. I'm just waiting for OBS to say that we have anything, whether it be zero viewers or one viewer or whatever. Tit tat, tit tat, tit tat. Hello? Oh, that's me. Okay. Any second now, YouTube will finish loading. Any second now. Any moment now, YouTube will load. Why is it not loading? Well, whatever. OBS can take forever to do whatever it's gonna do. It's fine. I'm just gonna start watching this.
Ichigo Kurosaki versus Yusuke Urameshi.
The substitute Shinigami of Bleach versus the spirit detective of Yu Yu.
This will be very fun. I've been looking forward to seeing their take on modern Yu Yu Hakusho.
Armor and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
And Bleach, honestly. I want to see if they've updated it.
Tell me, Boomstick, what happens when we die?
Endless nothingness? Jeez, man, I don't know. We just started.
Our souls are ferried by Shinigami, gods of death, in an eternal cycle of death and rebirth.
That was my second guess.
And when a soul goes astray, warped by evil and regret, it's a Shinigami's job to purify such violent hollows and send them off to the realm of the dead, the Soul Society.
Works great till it doesn't.
I have not seen this yet, Blind. I'm behind.
Big anime backstory came way too early when his mom was killed by a hollow. Reason number one why you should never want your kid to be the.
I forgot he liked Shakespeare. That's fun.
Ichigo was crushed under the weight of survivor's guilt.
So he lashed out the only way he knew how, beating people up.
But this wound began to heal when he found his calling, upon meeting a Shinigami named Rukia. To stop a powerful hollow, she gave Ichigo her powers, rousing unseen potential within.
The death battle or I'm quiet?
Ichigo's
Or
his
both.
Shinigami.
Substitute Shinigami. To carry out his duties, Ichigo sheds his body for an invisible one made of spiritual matter called Reishi. He can wield vast amounts of spiritual energy called Ryoku and exert it offensively in the form of spiritual pressure or Reiatsu.
Okay,
I love the editing. The editing's always good, but it's really good right now.
Ghost with an epic sword. His spirit aura is so strong it can stun lock foes, crushing him under his own
Bleach's
power
music does not miss.
easily.
He controls spirit matter in and
Let me see if I can turn it up a little bit.
around him, hardening his skin.
Alright, let me know if that's any better.
Leaping off of invisible footholds in the air. Paired with speed-boosting skills like Shunpo, he can virtually fly.
Say goodbye to the kid who beat up bullies for their lunch money, and hello to the town's new superhero with fellow Ghostbusters Orihime, Chad, and
I guess he is kind of a superhero.
It's the Shinigami's job to tear hollows a new hole.
While balancing responsibilities at school, of course. GPA comes first, and maybe a round or two of tech.
But it wouldn't be possible without his Shinigami blade, a Zanpakuto. It's basically a superpowered spirit that's physically a sword. Ghost sword.
Though strangely, Ichigo's sword is.
It really is basically a Valkyrie from Record of Ragnarok when you really think about
which
it.
isn't confusing at all.
Just call him Old Man Zangetsu and Hollow Zangetsu. Anyway, the double ghost sword gives Ichigo lots of new moves, including his trademark attack, the sword beam to end all sword beams. Getsuga Tensho!
Getsuga Tensho is incredible.
Getsuga Tensho has to be pretty up there in iconic anime attacks.
He can fire it as a wave, detonate it mid-attack to act as a barrier, and combine two at once into the even stronger Getsuga Jujisho.
To cut even the biggest hollows down to size, Ichigo was ridiculously strong, even from frame 1.
He can make giant shockwaves and parry spiritual light beams from a Menos Grande. And these aren't fake, slower-than-light lasers. Guidebooks confirm they're real light, and the novels say so too.
Plus, early on, Uryu moves so fast that he left his own shadow behind.
But as Ichigo became
So we
more
do have
with
solid
society,
early series
he
light
quickly
speed.
found that he
It's good to
wasn't
see that.
enough.
This Byakuya guy's so fast, Ichigo can't even see him.
This episode was so insane.
Training arc. Hit the music.
Until now, Zangetsu had operated only in its base state, Shikai. So Ichigo learned to release its inner power, a 10 times boost that takes most Shinigami a decade to master.
Bankai! In Bankai, his speed skyrocketed, letting him turn the tables on douchebag Byakuya. Even in Shikai, he blocked an attack that could destroy the whole frickin' Soul Society.
Because Ichigo's greatest gift is his potential to improve. Despite only being a teenager, he mastered swordsmanship well enough to thrash experts who had been training for centuries. He can quickly adapt to new weapons and styles mid-fight, surpassing his limits time and time again.
This FL's doing a great job at explaining everything. They made it a relatively complicated series of events feel relatively straightforward.
You mean Grimjow, right?
Yeah, but even with that main character energy, Ichigo couldn't match Big Bad Aizen. With just a finger, Aizen stopped Ichigo's Bankai and his theme song. Rude!
Ichigo needed to tap into his unexplained hollow power. Except Hollow Zangetsu wasn't going to make it easy.
Old Man Zang's pretty chill, but this guy's a menace.
Still, Ichigo needed his help and conjured a hollow mask to expand his power. But this meant the hollow within only grew stronger.
Masked up, he can fire lasers, bypass super senses, and heal lost limbs. But piss him off enough, and he'll go full hollow. And you really don't want that.
Hollowification exceeds even Bankai, and was enough to crush.
Yeah, I'll still be here when you get home. You can hop in the stream VC and we can chat.
Full hollow Ichigo could even tear through all 3 layers of hell.
But with help from his secret Shinigami father, Ichigo continued to train for months in the Dangai, a corridor between dimensions, until he was finally ready to challenge Aizen.
Challenge is an understatement. He manhandled Aizen, shattered mountains with sheer aura.
So we got Soul King scaling. That's good to know.
Black coffin, which crushes space like a mini black hole.
And yet, it still wasn't enough. So by becoming Getsuga itself, Ichigo unleashed his ultimate attack, Mugetsu, defeating Aizen at the cost of all his power.
He might have saved everyone, but now it was back to Normieville.
Can you imagine if the series ended here? Just pulls a Deku.
Shinigami meant to him. The power to protect others, his drive, his pride in himself was gone. He would give anything to get it back.
And he did, thanks to a surprise assist from Rukia. Boom! Shinigami again!
Just in time for a 1,000-year blood war with a final endgame boss, Yuhabak.
Who planned to end...
So is it Yuhabak? Is that like the official how we're gonna pronounce it? Because I've heard so many different things. So Yuhabak? That's what we're... Yuhabak.
Everything. And while other Shinigami tried their best, only Ichigo was special enough to pull it off.
His father was a Shinigami. His mother
And this
was a member
animation's
of
so
the
good.
ancient Quincy's and possessed by a hollow. Hence, his 2 Zanbakuto spirits, one Quincy, the other hollow and Shinigami.
Hi Jerome, I didn't see
made
your chat
Ichigo a
before.
perfect union to break Yuhabak's plan. Finally, Ichigo understood himself, fully unifying with both Zanbakuto spirits within. With that came a new Shikai and 2 new Zanbakuto.
True Shikai! If you thought Ichigo was strong before, oh boy, he's the strongest Shinigami alive.
I like how the Chains of Hell is important, that the movie was dope.
Stronger than Kanbachi, who could split the Dangai in half. Stronger than Senjumaru, who shook heaven and earth across the realms. And strong enough to match Yuhabak, even after he absorbed the Soul King.
Juiced up with Soul King power, Yuhabak could nuke all 3 realms. The human world, Soul Society, and Hueco Mundo, plus the Dangai and Garganta in between, which have a bunch of pocket dimensions sprinkled in. Hell, just the Soul King's corpse sent a shockwave across all the realms.
And it's not a matter of disrupting the flow of souls. Yuhabak was going to end everything through sheer power alone.
But Ichigo still wasn't...
I do like how they're directly correcting their prior statements in Naruto versus Ichigo way back in the day. They're explicitly saying that what they said before is wrong.
Powering up.
Entering a new half-hollow form and merging his Getsuga Tencho with a mighty hollow attack, the Gran Ray Sero.
Making a giant crescent slash that rips through space itself.
All that power culminating in his true Bankai. A power so great, even Yuhabak was scared of it.
Joke's on you! Ichigo didn't even need it! You're done!
Ichigo was finally content. And 10 years later, he remains a Shinigami, having found the courage to stand on the edge of life and death, conquer his fears, and walk onward.
I like how they caped how
Most
Yuaba
teenagers
was
have
actually
no idea
defeated
what they want
Vig.
to do with their life. However, that was hardly a problem for juvenile delinquent Yusuke
The
Urameshi,
GOAT
because he only
himself.
wanted to do one thing.
Throw hands! It don't matter who the ops are, be they women, old folk, or babies, Yusuke lived to fight. It's what gave life.
Okay, so we got a real question. Ichigo clearly likes Tekken, and Yusuke likes Virtua Fighter, so we really have to figure out which of them, which is the better gamer, who's more based. That's what we really need to figure out.
Meaning, who cares about stupid things like friends and family?
Which is why it was so surprising when one day he threw himself in front of a speeding car to save a child, bringing that reckless life to a screeching halt.
Truck-kun claims
He was lucky this happened in the 90s. If this happened today, he'd be isekai'd somewhere else.
Hardly the end.
Surprisingly, though, it wasn't a spooky skeleton in a hood who arrived to claim Yusuke's soul. It was a blue-haired anime girl on a broomstick.
This was Botan, whose job was to ferry Yusuke's newly deceased spirit off to the afterlife.
Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for him, he was such an asshole that the underworld didn't see his selfless death coming and didn't have any space prepared for him. Imagine being such a menace to society that the second you do something nice, hell itself gets caught with his pants down.
So the underworld surrogate king, Koenma, offered Yusuke an alternative. He could return to life as an agent of the afterlife, a spirit detective, solving supernatural crimes and fighting off demonic threats to humanity.
Naturally, Yusuke did what anyone would do in that situation and told Satan Jr. to stuff it. I mean, he was never really good for anything and no one was gonna miss him. So what's the point of coming back to life? It's not like his mom would be sad, or his childhood sweetheart Keiko would be heartbroken, or even his rival Kuwabara would shed badly
Kuwabara
tears.
is
Oh, man.
At the
so
sight of
great.
loved
I
ones
love
who
him.
cared far more than he ever expected, Yusuke had a change of heart and accepted Koenma's offer.
Yeah, let me know how y'all feel about the new Fan Battle Cast logo. I'm experimenting with something a little different. I might change it again in a couple days to be something a little different if I don't like it.
Learn to harness Reiki or spirit energy. He's ridiculously strong, fast, and durable. Heals from wounds quickly and can see spirits invisible to mortal men.
Even early on, Yusuke could parry Suzaku's lightning arrows, which are formed from real lightning called down from the sky. And with the help of legendary warrior Genkai, he mastered a signature move that could blast anyone to smithereens.
My favorite shonen move ever, the Spirit Gun. At first, Yusuke had a limited number of shots, but eventually he turned it into his personal WMD.
Me when I'm a D&D wizard and got like one spell slot a day.
As much as he wants.
The Spirit Gun is more versatile than it appears. Yusuke can bounce it off surfaces for sneak attacks, propel himself around like a rocket in flight, and produce massive explosions with each shot.
He can twist it up for a spirit shotgun, a mighty AoE blast, or a spirit punch, where he keeps the energy stored in his fists and clobbers the hell out of you. And the spirit wave, a Kamehameha from before we uncultured Americans knew what a Kamehameha was.
Yusuke may be a punk, but he's deceptively skilled and cunning in battle.
He's not afraid to fight dirty, throwing his shoes, using sleight of hand to place cigarettes on his foe to track them in the dark.
Personally, I'd call that smart, and his hand-to-hand is A+. He's matched experts like Cabano, who's said to have mastered all forms of martial combat.
But his best secret is how quickly he improves. All it takes is a round of training or someone threatening his friends, and Yusuke's power will spike to match stronger enemies, even if it means literally burning through his own life force for a power-up.
All known demons and demon fighters are individually ranked on a scale of power from E to S.
E and D class demons are nothing special. We're talking local threats at best. C and B are getting a bit dicey in a destroy your city kind of way. A and S? Well, hold on to your ass. We're talking end of the world.
As Yusuke forged bonds with new allies, like demons Hiei and Kurama, as well as his old pal Kuwabara, he found himself facing opponents he couldn't beat, such as the monstrous Toguro, who could vaporize weaker demons and crush their souls with sheer aura.
But Yusuke needed to survive and protect his loved ones, so he had no choice but to rank up, even if it meant absorbing the power of a small star.
Okay, so this has been a contentious feat in the versus community for a while. I'm very curious what they have to say, because this could genuinely be small star level, or this could just be like a nuclear reaction at a very small size. Nuclear I forget if Sons of Fusion or Fission, but there's a lot of different interpretations of this, and some people say star level is an outlier. I'm very curious Death Battle's interpretation since they're going into it.
Thanks, Genkai!
Our sun has an average luminosity of 380 septillion watts, or joules per second. Small stars like red dwarfs output about 1/10,000th of that. So this spirit orb's energy per second would equal about 9 million megatons of TNT.
Enough.
Okay, so they're going with the lower end interpretation, but still, teratons ain't nothing to shake a stick at.
Even after pushing past his own limits, Yusuke would still need more power to face S-class threats like Sensui, a past spirit detective gone bad, and a great measuring stick.
Sensui, I honestly like Sensui more than Toguro. I guess that's a hot take, but I always thought he was cooler.
Without threatening to bring down the whole thing, he compared destroying the whole goddamn planet to kicking an anthill.
According to Genkai, Yusuke could destroy the planet too, if he really wanted. And even A-class threats like King Enma have shaken both the demon and human worlds.
That anima guy is strong as balls. In the past, he fought the Netherworld King Yakumo, who could eradicate the entire human world and remake the Netherworld.
But Yusuke's power surpassed both of them, to the point where he overloaded Yakumo with his own energy. And do keep in mind, Yusuke was still only A-class at the time, a far cry from S-classes like Sensui, whose sacred energy was 10 times his superior.
But not for long, sucker, because turns out Yusuke was a demon himself.
Literally. Yusuke is the descendant of an ancient and incredibly powerful being, one of the strongest in existence, Ryzen, the Demon King.
With his Bazoku mark, Yusuke...
That's the one thing I'm sad about with Yu Yu Hakusho ending when it did. I wanted to know so much more about Ryzen. Ryzen was like the one character I was like looking up more info on wikis because I was like, there's got to be more to a story. But I would love more Ryzen content. I don't know how many Ryzen fans out there are, but I'm one of them.
Yusuke can channel Ryzen's spirit for a huge power boost and a massive thirst for murder boost. This was his first taste of a dangerous new type of spirit energy, Yoki.
A form of energy used by demons. Like normal Reiki, it can be amplified by intense emotions. Unlike normal Reiki, its use creates a pleasurable feeling, feeding into the user's rage and bloodlust, the feral animal within.
So Yusuke upgraded his spirit gun to a demon gun. It's the same thing, but red. Oh, and it's strong enough to blast Sensui past the horizon, putting Yusuke's power firmly in S-class.
And making him a prime candidate to rule the demon world. But as he was thrust into a tournament vying for that throne, Yusuke began to wonder if all this power was what he really wanted.
Self-reflection? From I'll kick your ass, Yusuke Urameshi? Nah, we can worry about that later. There's a tournament to win. Which one of you, girl, baby, or grandparents is first?
Even then, as Yusuke took on the Demon King Yomi in an epic final battle, he was still growing. He had become
Okay, so they're giving Yusuke some
He
space
became
manipulation
a
resistance.
version of the
That'll be
Mazoku
helpful
form,
here.
Separate from Ryzen's influence.
And a brand spanking new form of power. Kinda like Sensui's sacred energy, but even better. It's so unprecedented, it doesn't even have a name, but it's golden glowy.
Strong enough to clash with Yomi, creating an explosion that split the heavens above and decimated.
Are they gonna
the
recalc this
below,
feat? I've heard
pushing
a lot of
the
people
Demon
had
King
issues
himself
with it.
to his absolute limits.
But then, Yusuke lost. It's not all bad though. Even if being king would have been cool, Yusuke realized he wanted something more. He'd grown up and chose to walk a new path.
It was always Yusuke's connections with others that motivated him above.
So Okuyasu versus Kuwabara. This is a matchup channel, so we're gonna talk about matchups if people ask about them. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think it'd be interesting to delve into who's faster because I think there are some genuinely really high, good ways to scale Yu Yu Hakusho into the MFTL ranges. I think the big problem with Kuwabara versus Okuyasu is just that there are so many other JoJo matchups that I would want first. And even then, I think there might be like one or two Yu Yu Hakusho matchups I would want over. I don't know. Kuwabara versus Okuyasu is pretty good. I think I might like Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho versus Hashirama from Naruto a little more than Kuwabara versus Okuyasu, but that is one of the best options for a Yu Yu Hakusho matchup. It's just unfortunate that there's a more billion JoJo matchups that are really good. But yeah, the matchup in a vacuum's pretty sick.
All else, And it was in those connections that he found his happy ending.
But I wouldn't piss him off if you can avoid it.
I'm sorry, I wasn't fully paying
Or
attention.
threaten the human world, and this wouldn't.
It was Yusuke.
Grown up and chose been cool, Yusuke realized he wanted something more. He'd grown up and chose to walk a new path.
It was always Yusuke's connections with others that motivated him above all else. And it was in those connections that he found his happy ending.
But I wouldn't piss him off if you can avoid it. Get him in the right mood or threaten the human world, and the spirit detective will beat your stupid ass.
Long has its return been foretold.
Alright, what is this?
But now, finally, it is reborn.
The original Death Battle shirt.
Oh yeah, the original Death Battle shirt.
Hell yeah,
I remember
there's
this.
no better way to wear a blood spatter on your chest.
We've restored the original shirt with even better materials, and it's available now on deathbattle.gg. That's our website that's also kind of like a Patreon.
There's a bunch of other merch there, like this awesome Mega Goose hoodie. Just don't let the gooses get it.
Website members can also see the entire Death Battle archive, including episodes that were banned from YouTube.
And even more behind-the-scenes goodies. Like, did you know our research team wrote up a massive blog all about the science of Ash versus Yugi? Wait, I lied. They wrote up 2!
Click the link below.
That is
to
really
support
cool.
the
I
show,
like
look
that.
Behind the scenes and get cool merch at deathbattle.gg. All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Alright, so who do I think's gonna win? I guess who do I think would win just in a vacuum outside of everything Death Battle has said? I think Ichigo and Yusuke both have multiple metas, like they both have sub-planetary metas, multiple times planetary metas, star level metas. But no matter what, Ichigo should always be stronger than Yusuke. No matter what meta. You'd have to use a really high end for Yusuke and a low end for Ichigo to get Yusuke stronger than Ichigo. Because fundamentally, at the end of the day, they have a lot of different abilities, but it is going to be a slugfest, so it really just depends on who can hit harder at the end of the day. I think Death Battle, they didn't go with the star level feat for the small star stuff, but they also didn't give a calc to that tree feat, which I know can get to some pretty high ends, which is what let Hiei beat Sasuke way back in the day. I think it's possible that might be calc'd to be really high. They didn't reveal what that is yet. But I think Ichigo's 3 realm feat that they were very explicit in counting would probably be higher than that no matter what. I don't remember. They both brought up lightspeed stuff in the beginning of their series and didn't go into how... Well, I mean, they mentioned some things like 10 times multipliers, but they didn't go into specifically how much they improved specifically. So it's really hard to say who they're gonna say is faster. They'll probably say it's like relative or something, but they might give someone a slight edge. So I think Death Battle's just gonna give it to Ichigo. Yeah. Alright, let's see how this goes. And we got Sprite fights back. Finally.
That's a demon. That's hollow. No doubt about it.
Alright, we're getting right into it. Love that. What is this music? I feel like I'm watching anime intro AMV. This music's awesome. Getting right into the clash off the start. Love that. Also, I just want to say, I really appreciate it that it's final design Ichigo. I've seen so many sprite animations that use, like, early Ichigo, because that's all the sprites. I'm very glad Death Battle actually gave Ichigo his, end of series look. Oh no! Wait, what?
Chump change.
Random Grand Ray Zero? Oh, so it's they can go into the in-between. That's cool.
Demon energy got you scared? Nah.
Love this. This is great.
Getsuga! Two at once? Damn, why didn't I think of that?
Hell yeah, Yusuke.
Give in to me, Yusuke. Let's devour him together.
Is that Lanny Pator?
Hell no! This is my fight, jackass! You just won't be back!
Yeesh, rude awakening. This one's a piece of work. Need a hand, partner? Let's do it.
Love this. They're in the demon realm now.
Is that the best you can do? I can go even faster if you'd like. Hell yeah! Bring it on, asshole!
Love that little Yu Yu Hakusho style frame. That was great.
If it kills me, I'm putting it all on the line!
Oh?
You better do the same! Screw that!
That wraps?
Give me a freaking break.
See you on the other side.
I love that. That was great. Great. I'll talk about it more at the end, but that was everything I could have wanted out of that fight. That was awesome. That moment when he was shattering the sword, not as fast as Yuhabak was. I was like, oh, that moment gave me pause. I was like, maybe Yusuke can do this.
Oh, you think the afterlife offers frequent flyer miles?
There's a lot to cover here, so let's break this down into 4 chapters.
All right, so I'm an idiot. I'm dumb, and I forget how these franchises work. Yusuke and Ichigo, if they die right now, they're just dead all the way, right? Or are they a ghost again? I guess Ichigo would just be like, he would, that was his soul, so if his soul was destroyed, that'd be Raps. Yusuke, is he just a soul again now? Is he, can he be brought back like he was before, or is he just like, how does Yusuke dying work? I've completely forgotten, it's been so long.
Starting with their abilities.
Yusuke could see Ichigo no problem, and resist auras like Taguro's that are similar to Reiatsu.
Yeah, I didn't mention it in the in-between because I didn't think it mattered much, but it seemed like Ichigo's regen was just way better than Yusuke's, which was, if he needed any other advantages, that was probably the big one.
So Ichigo couldn't cheese a win right away.
Otherwise, Yusuke was outmatched. Sure, the Spirit Gun could potentially match the Getsuga Tensho, and he had stat-boosting forms like the Mizoku. Ichigo, however, had more varied powers, a better healing factor, greater stamina given his months of Dangai training,
And all those swords. He just had way more abilities to play with.
likewise, speed was a fairly easy call. Yusuke could react to lightning early on, and obviously got much faster over time. Looking at this blast from his clash with Yomi, it erupted upwards at 57% the speed of light.
But Ichigo was faster
Oh.
from the start, and he's gotten faster too.
Oh man, they said Yusuke is slow as fuck. I really didn't think, I thought they'd say he was faster than that.
Play with.
Likewise, speed was a fairly easy call. Yusuke could react to lightning early on, and obviously got much faster over time.
The Spirit Gun can bounce off mirrors, but has never been described as light, unlike Sero's, and exhibits contradictory properties. Likewise, no one reacts to the light produced by Musashi's photon sword. I guess that's fair.
Looking at this blast from his clash with Yomi, it erupted upwards at 57% the speed of light.
But Ichigo was faster than light from the start, and he's gotten
Man, so
faster
they
too.
capped him at relativistic. That's kind of crazy. I really thought they'd say he was faster than that.
Plus, he's got tons of training and power-ups since then.
The Soul King Shockwave, for example, expanded across the realms at thousands of times light speed, and Ichigo reacted to attacks from Soul King Yuhabak that utilized the same power. So, Ichigo takes speed. But Yusuke's fought plenty of foes faster and more varied than him, so it's extremely important to examine their tactics and ability to adapt mid-fight.
This is kind of
Yes, I'm sure their tactics will be very important in this fight.
Centuries of training and has over a decade of experience as a Shinigami. He's pretty good at figuring out new weapons and styles.
Meanwhile, Yusuke was flexible and quick to adapt, mixing cleverness with exceptional hand-to-hand. He's good enough to
I get that these points really don't actually matter to who wins at the end of the day, but I still do like hearing the comparisons because it's just cool to compare these aspects of the characters. It's just funny how they act like it's a genuine factor in the fights.
match Kabano, who mastered every martial art. Ichigo's decent at hand-to-hand, but it's not his go-to in the same way.
So, both had their strong suits, with advantages on each side. It's fair to call this one a draw.
Leaving only the biggest winning factor, which could have superseded all other advantages: power.
Yes. Oh, that was good. I like the crack.
Yusuke could definitely destroy the planet. Examining his sky-splitting clash with Yomi and measuring its scale, that's about 4 quadrillion megatons of TNT, which is crazy.
Similarly,
I was for Zeta Tons again. Versus Battles Wiki. You got my back, right? Versus Battles Wiki AP for Zeta Tons. That is... Zeta Tons. Oh, so that's on the lower end of planet level. That's actually... Wait, that's not even planet level. That's small planet level. So this tree feat doesn't even matter. Just blowing up the earth by Sensui would be like 11, 12 times greater. Alright, never mind. I'm still glad it's calced. I like calcs.
Mid-series Ichigo could shake Huecomundo, tear through hell, and block attacks that could destroy the Soul Society. But at his peak, he beat Yuhabak, who could destroy several realms, which is far more impressive than just one.
To be fair, Yusuke also beat Yakumo, who could threaten 2 realms at the same time. Pretty close to Yuhabak's threatening 3.
And Yusuke far surpassed Yakumo afterward. The gap between him and Sensui alone was 10 times. So there could be an argument for Yusuke's power surpassing Ichigo if 3 realms was truly Ichigo's limit.
Fortunately for Ichigo, it's not. Yuhabak was also going to destroy the Garganta, which has at least 29 pocket dimensions inside it.
Each containing at least a planet and star, much larger than Yusuke's planet-sized worlds. Plus, Ichigo matched Yuhabak in True Shikai, without his additional boost from Half Hollow and True Bankai.
As always with Death Battle, there's arguments either way. But the way we see it, even being generous with Yusuke's power and conservative with Ichigo's, the gap was just too big, giving Ichigo the final edge. Sorry if things got messy, but that's just how Ichigo's.
The winner
That
is
was good.
Ichigo Kurosaki.
Next time.
I wonder what the next time is. I'm not sure, guys. It could be anything. Man, this OVA was so good.
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
Death Battle is back, and so is our new tabletop gaming channel, Nightly Brew.
Tabletop
We've got everything
gaming?
on there from Uno to Dungeons and Dragons, and a very special all-new Blood on the Clock Tower airing right now. So come join us.
I do want to check out their
Thanks,
Tomb
check us
of
out.
Horrors
Thanks.
thing. Alright, so... Ichigo's analysis, it was pretty good. I like the fact that they were able to explain the storyline and the series of events in Bleach in a way that was pretty easy to keep up with. It made a lot of sense. It was just a very good overview of Ichigo's story. Yusuke's, I think I liked even a little better because I kind of liked... Maybe it's just because I like Yusuke more than Ichigo, but I just like the way they characterized Yusuke throughout the whole thing. They similarly said everything they need to say about his story, but also they just kind of made it seem like they were able to show off why I think Yusuke's cool. Now let's talk about that fight, though. That was crazy. Just first off, like... This is just... We want to brawl off the top, so we get exactly the way we want it there. The clash, obviously.
Can you hear me?
Oh, hi, Plymph. Hang on, let me...
Hey!
let me turn you on.
Pop drop.
Let me turn Discord on so they can see you. Let me just scroll down Aha. And now your circle is on screen. Yeah.
Oh, let me actually pull up the stream real quick so I can see what you see.
I can just share my screen.
So, I have some thoughts, and I want to go over this with you
Yeah,
before you move on.
All right, well, let me hear them. I can kind of scroll through the YouTube video as needed so you can illustrate your point.
Oh, so you don't need to. There's a lot of cool shit. I think this episode, I like it more as time goes on. You should
Okay.
also make sure you're the people watching you can hear me as well, by the way.
Yeah, they can hear you.
The fight itself is really good. I was just like Metal Cell. I won't spoil anything for you. It was one of those things where over time I liked it a little bit more.
Mhm.
My issue is how they scaled Ichigo because I don't personally think he wins that hard.
Really?
So they scale him to Yuabaha because Ichigo defeats Yuabaha, right?
Yeah.
But that's not how it plays out in the manga. Now I don't know if the anime will change anything. But the reason Ichigo wins, because Ichigo goes true Bankai and Yuhabaha breaks it immediately, just like completely fucks him up. And it takes
Yeah.
that guy from that one filler arc in Bleach to fix it, the guy that can hit you with a sword and change reality.
Yeah.
The only way Ichigo wins is when Yuhabaha is shot specifically from an arrow that Uryu has. And the arrow specifically is meant to seal away the Soul King powers and revert him back. So he can't see the future anymore. He's lost a lot of his abilities and stuff like that. And it was through that one shot that Ichigo one-shot him essentially.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well you can scale Yuhabaha to the Soul King powers when the Soul King powers were sealed.
I think
when
it's
he
less
defeated him.
that he scales to like full power Yuhaba and more he scales relatively to the Soul King, which I think is all you would need to get the scaling.
Does he though?
Well, he was one of the likely people to replace the Soul King was the
Well, the
logic.
only reason he was able to replace the Soul King is that because he had all of the different bloods that the Soul King had a part in creating, right? That's the main reason he was able to kill the Soul King in the first place is because he had the blood of a Hollow, Quincy, and all that.
But wouldn't he need somewhat relative AP to even do something like that?
Yeah, because if that were the case, he would have just one-shot Yuhabaha in their first fight.
But
Because
Yuhaba is stronger than the Soul King at full power.
Only after he absorbs the Soul King. He didn't absorb the Soul King by the point Ichigo defeated it. And if we're saying Ichigo is stronger than the Soul King, then Ichigo should have overpowered Yuhabaha fairly easily in that fight. Because Yuhabaha was struggling against like fucking Yamamoto. It was only because Yamamoto kind of just didn't fight hard enough, I guess, that he lost.
Yeah, but Yamamoto's that guy though, so like
that's true.
That's not really.
But
an
Yamamoto is
anti-feat.
also described. Yamamoto is described to be weaker than all four of the of Squad Zero. Each one of them like eclipses Yamamoto in power, and the head of Squad Zero. If Yuhabai didn't have a bullshit ability to change the future, he would have easily stomped down Yuhabaha because that's what was happening before his power activated. Because he needed his power to activate mid-fight to win against Ichigo and against that guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
I think, are we talking about... No, that's from Naruto. That's wrong.
The guy with the paintbrush that
Ichibe?
takes your abilities, yeah.
Ichibe.
Yeah, Ichibe.
Yeah. I can see what you're saying. I think worst case scenario, all these characters would be like in a similar tier to each other. Like Yamamoto, Ichigo, Yuhaba, Soul King, Ichibe. They're all clearly there's like a ranking and a hierarchy amongst them. But if we were to put them in like a power scaling tier list, they would be like either in a similar tier or a tier right above or below each other. That would grant like they shouldn't be hundreds of times weaker than each other. They would be like in the talking point for who's stronger than each other. And when we're dealing with a scale of like 30 realms, which would be like the Bleach cosmology, then Ichigo would have to be pretty lowballed.
Oh yeah, it is exactly 30 if you count the down guy.
I think it's reasonable to say, like, especially since Ichigo's whole thing is like raw power, that just in terms of like how hard he swings, he should be like arguments for top of the verse.
His thing is more so speed than power.
Well, it's both. Yeah, he's more speedy. I guess Kenpachi would be more of the raw power guy, but
Yeah, Kenpachi's like the overpower. That was still one of my favorite fights in the fucking show is Kenpachi fighting that. I think his name is Gremmy.
yeah, the little kid.
Where he's just like, yeah, anything I think will happen, and Kenpachi fights him so hard that he thinks he's losing, so he starts losing.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
He like tries to imagine himself as strong as Kenpachi, and his body like rips itself apart. That's like some eldritch logic of incomprehensible power.
I find that shit so funny.
I can definitely see your reasoning for Ichigo not being like as strong as the top tiers of Bleach, but I don't think he needs.
I think saying he's in a pretty high, like even past universal range, makes a little sense. Kenpachi Yamamoto just by powering up. If Yamamoto unleashes Bankai for too long, Soul Society, Human World, and Huecamundo would cease to exist, and Ichigo's stronger than that. So I feel like just that alone puts him at such a crazy tier. It's just the stuff with the Don guy, like saying he can also destroy every single dimension. I think there's 26 in the Don guy, if the novels are correct. And the Don guy itself, I'm like, okay, maybe not that strong. We also don't know how big those universes are inside of the Don guy. I think the books only clarify that there's a planet and stars.
Yeah, this is all assuming that these realms in the first place are only planet-sized feats and not the potential for them to be universal feats, in which case I don't know what Yusuke is gonna do.
Yusuke, oh, you had a question midstream. What would happen if Ichigo and Yusuke died?
Yeah, right? I kind of remembered how Bleach worked because that was more recently, but I forgot how death and life works in Yu Yu Hakusho because it's been much longer since I saw that.
So the last line, I don't think Speedy intended this line to hit as hard as it does. But Ichigo's last line, "See you on the other side," makes a lot of sense. Because if Yusuke dies within his world, he's pretty much, because of his embrace of his demon power and his demon blood, which is something that like everyone in the series is like, don't do that. It's also the other reason that, like, as a reference, when he uses his power against the Hollow mid-fight, Ichigo's like reckless idiot, is because like everyone warns him not to use that power.
Yeah.
Because embracing it essentially is damning him to hell. So when Yusuke dies, that's where he's going. In Ichigo's case, it doesn't matter how good of a person he is, he will go to hell when he dies as well. Because when a Soul Reaper is up at captain level, and they're like insanely powerful, we find this out in the one shot that came out well after Bleach ended.
Yeah.
It's all about sending Yamamoto to the afterlife, and what they have to do is, when you die, you turn into Reishi, like energy, and the energy is too powerful. It will cause major destruction if it's just left. So you have to banish the Reishi to hell, which is the only place to contain it. And that's what the whole one shot is. And like every captain, including the ones that had died early, are inside that hell as well.
Yeah.
So if that line is true, and he's like, "I'll see you on the other side," it's because he knows they're both damned to hell, and I find that such a hard hitting line. If that's the case,
that is pretty sweet. I think I agree with you that there is a lot of higher end discussions to be had around Bleach in terms of where exactly Ichigo ranks in the hierarchy of power. I think like it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because no matter how you scale Ichigo, just being in the conversation would just be a comfortable amount of power over Yusuke. I think you have to like really lowball both the feats themselves and Ichigo's place in Bleach to say like it's comparable.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Everyone knew it was gonna kind of be a wash, and like we had talked about before, it was just about how much.
Yeah, I'm curious where
they gave Ichigo a star level feat, which is crazy.
Well, they didn't give him a star level feat. They said the star level feat was like continental.
The absorbing the star?
The small star thing that Genkai taught him?
It was absorbing the power of the small star was supposed to be a durability feat, I thought.
Yeah, they measured that to be into teratons, which was large country level. because
I
they
thought
said
that was
like
just
a son of that
I thought that was the
size.
Clash. I thought it was the Clash that I got to that.
The clash
The
at the end of the series on the with the tree
yeah.
that got to 4 zetatons, which isn't the small planet level. Which, if you were
Damn.
watching me, you would find out that that just scales below Sensui's statements anyway. But it's a cool feat to
Didn't
calc
they say
anyway.
that Sensui could just like take a step and destroy the world? Like that would be
Yeah.
way higher than.
Yeah, based on everything they've said, that is the most impressive Yusuke feat, but they didn't need to calc that because at that point they were just using planet level as a measuring stick. Yeah, so if we
This is
go
all-
back to when they measured, I think it was like I don't remember however much, but it was specifically measured in teratons, which is in the country ranges. Yeah. How fast did the G1
So-
blog say Yusuke is? Because I thought people thought Yusuke was faster than relativistic.
I think they gave him 47% in the episode.
Yeah, they said 47% in the episode. I'm trying to see what the G1 blog said for his speed. Ability stats.
I don't typically read G1 beforehand because I try not to like. I don't do predictions anymore because with Nebula I just don't have time.
Yeah, yeah.
But the only one I've read recently is the Bakugo Reise one because I feel like I didn't need to read anything to get the gist of that matchup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Bakugo Reise is happening. I can't remember if you knew that or not.
What'd you say?
Bakugo Reise is happening. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I did find out about that, and I was very confused because I genuinely didn't think that'd be something Death Battle would do, but I guess it makes sense.
Do you happen to
Okay,
be a member at all?
I am, yes. So, according to the G1 blog, they estimated at a high end, Yusuke could potentially be thousands of times light speed. Based on the fact that they could dodge the spirit gun as a D class, and by the end of the series, they would be thousands of times faster and stronger.
I think that's assuming that the spirit gun is light.
That
speed,
is assuming that the spirit gun is light speed.
That's
which
interpretational.
Death Battle did not buy, which I kind of thought was generally accepted. So I was a little surprised that they did. Are there any other blatant speed feats in Yu Yu Hakusho? I don't see them bringing up anything in scaling wise. Oh,
They
wait, they
also
say
had
he
to,
dodges a spirit gun from a few centimeters away. That's still assuming that the spirit gun is light speed.
Fucking
Yeah, there's really not a whole ton of blatant speed feats if you don't buy the spirit gun being light speed.
Didn't they say something about Yusuke scaling to the guy that's only in the movie? What's his name?
The
Yakumo.
Demon King guy.
Yakumo.
Yeah, I think that's his name.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that movie's not canon, but like, at least they gave it to him.
Yeah, they were kind of giving Yusuke everything, which I kind of like since the manga was kind of incomplete a little bit already.
Yeah.
I do think the fight though was really awesome. It's a brawl, which is exactly what I would have wanted.
Hey,
I think.
Do you want to go through it with me real quick?
Yeah,
I can
sure.
point out some fun little references as annoying Bleach guy.
Delightful.
And a Yu Yu Hakusho fan.
So we just see them punch. It's we see the clash. It's exactly how we would want it to start. And then we get the Grand
Hell yeah.
Reisero. Yusuke just.
So if you notice this scene right here, when he said he unleashes the gun, he says "you reckless idiot" right after. It's so powerful it breaks all the buildings around.
Oh, I didn't even
Which is
notice
why-
that. That's sick.
Yeah. So it breaks all the buildings. Which
Yusuke,
is
you're
why
costing the
he's like-
taxpayers so much.
Hollow shows up because it's a reference to when Uryu first showed up in the anime. He breaks a vial, and he is like, when you use spirit energy in the human world, it attracts hollows to that energy, and this is a vial of pure like spirit energy that will attract them. Which is the first time we see a Grand Race. A Vasto Lorde in the.
So we're saying like if Yusuke was in the Bleach world, he would probably accidentally summon a Grand Reisero pretty quickly. That's fun.
Because he was throwing around energy all the time, while Ichigo only threw one to defend himself.
That is fun. I like that. I just like that Yusuke one-shotting a Grand Reisero is very fun.
Grabbing his face like that is a reference to when he grabbed Aizen.
Yeah. I do like the voice acting for both of them.
I think it's Lanny for Yusuke. I could be wrong about that.
Oh, is it Lanny? I did think it was Lanny when Ryzen showed up. I didn't realize that was also for Yusuke. I love this. He's like, oh damn, that's a good idea. that
That's
feels
so
very
funny.
Yusuke to do.
I love that both of them are smaller than the one he threw against Yusuke first, though. Or against Ichigo first, which is funny.
Yeah.
Together.
Now I've heard people
you-
say on Death Battle Twitter that that's like a weird out of character moment for Yusuke / Ryzen. I'm not entirely sure why, but it could just be I don't
So
remember.
when Ryzen took control of Yusuke's body the first time, well, I should say the only time,
Yeah.
it wasn't something Yusuke had a choice in. It was something that Ryzen did of his own volition and nearly killed, essentially killed Sensui because of it. Like, Yusuke had lost all control. He didn't know what was happening until after.
Yeah.
So him asking, like, hey, let me do this with you, son, when there's no point in time where that could have happened in the story. I don't mind it personally. But there's no point in which he could have said that because he takes control of Yusuke. Yusuke goes to hell immediately after, and Ryzen dies while he's down there.
So people were people thought maybe they're trying to force an Ichigo parallel that maybe never would have worked at any point.
Well, yeah, kind of, because they're not Yusuke. The soul that's inside Yusuke is a soul that's just paired with him, right?
Yeah.
That's what Zangetsu is. The hollow is what's in Zangetsu, black and white fused with each other, so they are just one being now. And that's just like a manifestation, an extension of Ichigo's soul, whereas this is just a descendant to Yusuke, who has only ever helped him in one fight, and it was when Yusuke didn't want help.
Yeah.
If you notice, in these next few shots, Yusuke's tattoos on his face kind of disappear on and off between shots, and I think it's a little jarring, but it's a little funny. So if you look, not there.
All right.
He's supposed to have like little marks right under his eyes. They're there now.
It looks like Sukuna.
This is a cool scene.
Yeah.
This one's a piece of work. Need a hand, partner?
I guess they're trying to show the embrace of Ichigo's partner with the denial of Yusuke's, but that's not Yusuke's partner, so it's a little
it's
I can see what people are saying.
It's not quite a parallel that lines up quite true. I guess this is why some people say they like accurate connections in battles, because inaccurate can sometimes be just mischaracterize a character.
Yeah. Although, by the way, our good Project Alpha made all these 3D models.
Yeah, Project Alpha's the GOAT. They were gone again. I will say the spray artist did so good on this. Ichigo hit Yusuke so hard he knocked the patterns right off of him.
Is that the best you can do? I can go even faster if you'd like.
Still gone.
Hell yeah!
I love this Yu Yu Hakusho style face. Now this part got me geeked when the sword started cracking. I was like, hang on a second. Hang on. Yeah.
They're there. So a lot of people think this is Ichigo holofying and then denying it, but it's the Mugetsu. It's the thing that gets rid of his Soul Reaper powers.
Yeah.
And they're gone again.
Yeah.
What's really cool about this is that Ichigo's sword shatters, right? And it's in that form. And that specific form doesn't exist until the years later. Oh, the tattoos are there again. That form doesn't exist until the one-shot manga later. So if you go to the next shot of him holding the sword.
Give me a freaking break.
The shape of the sword, that shape only exists in the time skip. So I don't know if it's intentional, but the implication that the Bankai broke and reverted it to the form that we'd see later in his life is kind of fun.
That is nice, yeah. You know, this injury, I get it makes sense because Yusuke was pretty hard, but I feel like Yusuke's tough enough to survive a slash across his upper body like this. Because it's not like it's in half or anything. It's just like a big cut, and we've seen Yusuke.
It's a direct reference to when Ichigo sliced Ulquiorra after he transformed into the Hollow.
Yeah. Because
he slashes them exactly that way.
Because this is one of those death battles. Usually I'm pretty good at telling when it's actually like, okay, they've won. This was a moment where I was like, they could pretty easily make like a Yusuke comeback moment in the next couple of seconds. But yeah. Yeah, this fight was pretty great. You want to stick around as I watch the next one, or you got stuff to do?
I will stick around. I will disappear for a second just so I can. I rush to talk about Ichigo Yusuke. I gotta just put away my groceries.
All right.
So
Sounds
I
good.
will. I will mute myself while I do that. While you get through a little bit of Cell's analysis, shouldn't take me long.
All right, let's get right into the next one. Metal Sonic versus Cell time.
Cell versus Metal Sonic.
Which copycat android is truly the superior model?
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Animation looks great.
There's a monster stalking Gingertown. No one who's seen it has lived to tell the tale. All it left behind was their clothes.
How do y'all feel about horror movie Cell? Do you like horror movie Cell better or worse than end of series like anime villain Cell? I'm gonna make a poll for that. What Cell do y'all like better? Which Cell is best? Yeah, actually, I'll just make a poll for all the versions of Cells. Imperfect. Semi-perfect, if anyone likes that one. Perfect Cell. And we'll throw in Cell Max for shits and giggles. Alright. What are we liking, people? Tell me in the poll.
Thing ate these people's insides.
Because this was definitely a super iconic design.
Some kind of creature driven only by the need.
It is usually either imperfect or perfect that people like the most.
The ultimate life form.
The Namekian Piccolo went to investigate
Ultimate life form, you say?
and discovered that it was intelligent. Its tail could unravel to absorb its hapless victims and add their energy to its wretched gestalt.
But the nightmare was only just beginning, because for its last trick, somehow this freak of nature knew the Kamehameha.
The mystery of this creature's origin was decades in the making. Years ago,
I really like the Piccolo versus Imperfect Cell fight. I think it's a relatively short, but it's a really interesting fight.
Got rocked by this little kung fu gremlin, Son Goku.
But Red Ribbon's dream of revenge lived on within their head scientist, Dr. Giro.
Okay, so they're saying they're prioritizing the manga and the anime. Well, which is it? They scaled differently. Are we saying they're both perfectly valid, and thus the anime's higher end would be just as valid as the manga? That black box told me almost nothing.
In his spooky cave laboratory, Giro would go to work studying the Z-Fighters from afar, learning everything there was to know about them.
And building a series of androids that would destroy his spiky-haired nemesis once and for all.
I miss Ader.
And a ton of them. Infinite energy androids, key-absorbing androids, trucker head androids.
So they are not including Cell Max.
Ginger androids.
However, none of Giro's creations were capable of matching that drive to improve that Goku and his fellow martial artists.
I really liked Super 13. I think that's one of the... It's like might be like a top 5 Dragon Ball movie for me.
Years after Giro's death to complete, its name was Cell.
Born from a single cell, get it? This android possessed the genetic information of all the greatest warriors that had battled on Earth. And when
I love the combination of manga panel and anime in the screen there.
all their powers and techniques too.
common among all of them is the
Hey, that Kermit the Frog isn't canon.
and all living things, and weaponize it to fire energy blasts, fly at faster than light speeds, move things with telekinesis.
This is misinformation. This Death Battle is telling me canonical Cell likes Kermit the Frog. This is I want to sue for emotional damage
From the humans,
at the lies.
again, Cell knows the multiform technique, Destructo Disc, and the Tri-Beam.
And as we all know, because of his infinite energy battery, he can use the multiform infinite times.
Sorry, bud.
Is Chaozu human?
Oh.
Okay. Cell can fire the Death Beam, as well as breathe in and travel through the vacuum of space with the alien genes of Frieza and his father.
And because he's got Piccolo's DNA, Cell can regenerate humongous damage to his body at the cost of some keys.
Cell has survived having half his body
Hi,
vaporized
Ten Tails.
multiple times, and cannot be destroyed unless the small cluster of cells at the core of his being is eradicated.
Should that little bugger survive, Cell will always return, even stronger than before because of the Saiyan DNA he got from Goku and Vegeta.
Cell does have genuine arguments for being like
Sure, he can perfectly
the most
get a
bullshit
Spirit
character.
Ball
Like some people say it's Boo, but I think Cell might have crazier stuff realistically.
But the best part of being a Saiyan is how
They're giving him the spirit bomb. I will say this now, ladies and gentlemen. I just know who wins because I super heavily doubt that they would genuinely say Cell wins. But I do genuinely believe the spirit bomb is a win con, so I wonder if they will bring that up at any point.
They can even evolve to become orders of magnitude stronger in the midst of battle. Combine that with Cell's healing factor, and he is effectively the ultimate warrior.
Like a perpetual shonen motion machine.
Driven by a biological imperative, Cell wanted nothing more than to devour Giro's previous androids, 17 and 18, believing it would make him perfect.
Only one problem. The Cell we know was born in the future, and both 17 and 18 had been destroyed. So he murdered Trunks and went back in time. Not our Trunks, future Trunks. Well, not future Trunks, but another future Trunks. It's very complicated. There's like 5 timelines.
As Cell defeated and absorbed the androids, he evolved. Not only getting stronger, but changing his personality and developing a lust for battle.
He became less creepy bug serial killer and more, well, Saiyan. After exploiting that very Saiyan arrogance and warrior's pride, Cell finally became perfect
and easily dominated Trunks.
I think Cell is... it's tough to say. All the villains in Z are good.
Cell's power was off the charts. He could threaten the whole Earth just by powering up. With a full power Kamehameha, he was even capable of destroying our entire solar system.
While the vast majority of our solar system's mass is located in the sun, this still means that Cell's P-Wave would have to reach 2.8 billion miles to eradicate every planet.
But Wiz, maybe he was just exaggerating.
Not likely. Cell's claim has been backed up in multiple guidebooks, and even demonstrated outright in the video games.
Cell's even stronger in the anime adaptation, considering the time Frieza blew up Namek. In the anime, the explosion was literally hundreds of light years wide and lit up the friggin' galaxy.
And Cell was far stronger than Frieza was.
Death Battle may be saying that Frieza is higher than Solar System level in the anime, which is a contentious statement.
At that point in time.
Hell, the Namekians could sense him all the way from a different galaxy and thought he might be a threat to the whole universe.
He's also incredibly fast, capable of blitzing even the strongest Z fighters at the time.
I'm back.
Goku flew from mankind's planet of heaven all the way to hell. Hundreds of billions.
Alright, so you're still in Cells. Get ready for this.
And that was in his base form.
Yeah, that's cool, but how about the power to squeeze mini Cell Juniors out of your butt? What? Never heard of that?
And these Cell Juniors can also use the multi-form technique.
Cell was entirely without peer and no longer wedded.
The Cell Juniors can essentially do everything he does.
Yeah. It with a tournament.
The Cell Games.
Hi, Ten Tails.
They're bringing up the size of heaven, which intrigues me.
Their last hope was Goku's own son, Gohan.
After Cell arrogantly let him power up, Gohan unleashed his rage.
I'm like, why is it so low? And I'm like, wait, I can turn that audio up.
Yeah.
Get ready. This is about to be the only time Gohan's ever on Death Battle.
More people are here.
I didn't even know Lockdown and Croat got here. Hey guys.
I was just keeping...
I was very subtle.
I genuinely thought you were laughing.
You're
was
like
Plymph. You're laughing.
In.
You and Plymph have very similar laughs.
Damn.
Wait, hang on. Pin is saying that this video is bad. We should just watch Cartoon Fight Club instead. I'm gonna time out Pin.
Or you just watch someone else's reaction.
Yeah, can we? Let's watch Jobber's reaction real quick. Hang on.
So mad he even blew himself up. Maybe he does have some.
Oh look, I'm sorry. This is just a me thing, but I love seeing the I'm on fire in my laser face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it warms my heart.
This has to be the most bullshit power in all of Dragon Ball. What do you mean you
Yeah, honestly,
blow yourself
yeah.
up and then you come back stronger? You
That
could just do that
DNA
forever.
hard carrying. That Saiyan DNA is hard carrying Cell.
And like it's just like what Cell is genuinely the most broken character in OG Dragon Ball.
Now with more lightning, in a battle for the ages, Cell put the entire weight of his biological programming against one lone Saiyan and went the distance.
But in the end, it still wasn't enough. No matter how brilliantly Dr. Gero copied the Z-Fighters, he still couldn't quite figure out their knack for going beyond.
What can be destroyed can always be rebuilt. All it takes to recreate the
Did you know Cell Max was the same guy?
I didn't know that because that's not true.
Everyone was saying it in the lead up to the episode. I thought it was really funny.
All right, so I'm ending the
What's
poll.
he gonna do when he
Again,
goes
that's
back?
not the case.
People say that Perfect Cell is their favorite version of Cell. One person has said Cell Max is their favorite version of Cell. Whoever said that,
That person is brave. That person is brave to admit that.
I salute your honesty.
That's valid.
No one said semi-perfect Cell.
No one said semi-perfect.
Yeah.
Imperfect Cell's looking my favorite.
Imperfect is just the other best one.
You might want to skip ahead this. They'd stay on this for a while,
Oh, wow,
like
yeah.
a lot longer than they should. And it's a
I mean, Tomb of Horrors is
really
great.
jarring.
We should do
Tomb of Horrors is great seeing other people play.
we should do a Tomb of Horrors stream sometime. I think that'd be
It
really
will
funny.
fucking actually just kill you.
Oh, no.
You can do a Tomb of Horrors. This is low-key one of my favorite analysis.
For Metal Sonic?
Really? I'm so conflicted. I'm so conflicted on this.
I gotta be honest. I think that Cell analysis could have been better. Maybe just because Cell is one of my all-time favorite fictional characters, but I think they were they could have done better.
World and those same critters were saved by Sonic the Hedgehog. No matter how many robotic badniks the good doctor...
Remember, Sherm, you said this is where it peaked. No, we changed that for the final episode. Never mind.
What?
In a Kara X, you
Oh,
were
yeah,
supposed to say
right.
that Classic Sonic peaked here,
Listen.
and then you changed it during recording to some say that's where it peaked.
Well, because it didn't peak. That's just what boomers say about the series.
More than boomers.
Hates.
Boomers and posers and tourists.
Go. It's official. Metal Sonic hates Sonic more than Reverse Flash hates Barry Allen.
It's just the Android 16, like, kill Son Goku going through his head, but it's Sonic.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just do Android 16 versus Metal Sonic? That's clearly the much better matchup.
We could have the bio data copied because he's not bio data.
At the risk of self-destructing.
You'd think all that'd be enough to turn the rodent into roadkill, but it
I remember back in the day, I was the biggest Metal Sonic hater, and I
Why?
still don't know why.
Yeah, I was gonna say you
Like,
still
everyone was
are.
hyping him up, and that was like my prime hater arc, so I was just hating on him for no reason.
You just hated what other people
fair.
love.
Yeah, no, that was me back in the day. That was me. Chilled out a lot since then, thankfully.
So the only like the analysis is good. My only iffy thing is like they tell the story in such a weird fucking way, which I guess
For
I
Metal
was about to say
Sonic?
Sonic is yeah. They like tell
It's
it like
hard.
weirdly, like they're showing this now, but this isn't actually important to what they're talking about right now. So they don't bring up the significance of that scene.
I think that has a lot of different interpretation as to why it's what it means.
So they bring that up there, and they start going over this, and then later they bring up that he thinks he's Sonic, which I'm like, shouldn't that have been put there? Shouldn't that clip have been put before that? Just seems like a weird place to place
It's
the
just
clip
with
where he
how
realized he wasn't
Sonic-
Sonic.
I think with just like how Sonic's story overall, like the franchise story, is just very loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
There's no real correct way to string a story together.
You're wrong. They made a timeline. Boom.
You think I pay
Well, they
attention to
tried
what
to.
Sega says?
To be fair, Zelda also made a timeline, and I don't think that shit's accurate at all.
No one pays attention to Zelda's timeline. What the fuck?
Silver psychokinesis, manufacture Rouge's mechanical bat guards, or alter his very biology to copy
So, okay, they do mention the back art specifically here, so he can copy more than organic matter.
So it seems
I
like
kinda
they'll
forgot
be
about
giving Metal Sonic everything that he's ever had.
Copying is so busted, it doesn't really matter that he's a robot made of metal. If you can do it, so can he.
Yeah, it's funny. In that scene, Blaze, they're directly telling Blaze not to come into contact with Metal Sonic, because if he reads her bio data and gets the flame she can emit, they're fucked.
Can we talk about how, like, it never came up again, how Metal Sonic was low-key the T-1000 and would probably have busted regeneration if they took this seriously, but this is never brought up ever again.
Yeah, they treat it, so in the comics, they just say that he read somehow Chaos' bio data.
Wait, whose bio data let him be the T-1000?
chaos. But that the way he's melting down and stuff like that is directly from chaos from SA1. Drowning into a puddle, which is like can only be used for that attribute as well. So he can't just like repair himself that way because neither could chaos.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
I really appreciate
That's all
the
we got
Obama
for the
meme.
grip.
Yes.
Is he completely invulnerable? Because Shadow knocked the emeralds out of his ass.
I guess he's not. Yeah.
On offense, he was hitting the weak point, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, if he has a weak point, then he's not completely invulnerable.
That's true.
It's like when someone tickles you in the back of the knee or whatever.
At their peak, 3 Super Hedgehogs have even fought Solaris, who nearly consumed Sonic's entire multiverse.
So are they implying that Super Neo Metal scales to everything? That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
The road to total domination was nearly at an end. After manipulating Sonic and friends and copying their abilities, Metal eventually combined their biodata with the mighty Egg Fleet and became Metal Overlord.
Complete with missiles, giant crystal projectiles, and the strength to match 3 supersonic heroes all by himself. Overlord.
Not true. That's fine.
I miss Super Tails.
And he knew it. His ego might as well have had its own health bar. Metal's drive to surpass his rival.
I have an interpretation of Sonic power scaling like everyone else, so I'm just kind of accepting what they're saying.
Yep.
Because there's a million different interpretations of how things work.
I prefer
Specifically,
to think that everyone in Sonic is wall level.
you know, I think that's based.
By the way, somebody told me that Croat agenda posts in every server against the obvious winner whenever there's a stomp matchup, and I mad respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I might as well agenda
Sonic
post.
Heroes is not that hard. I need the slander to stop.
It's really not. It's one of the best Sonic games in my opinion.
Sonic Heroes is bad if you're like not paying attention when you're playing. That's your fault if you're falling off all the time.
This is all fucking fan fiction.
I mean, they're not saying it explicitly. They're using a lot of maybe and who knows.
They said maybe Cell's best ability thing he copied was the ability to lie, and I'm like, that's all just fucking speculation. We have no idea.
It is, but that line is cool as fuck.
Yeah, but they said
a cool
maybe,
line, but
so
still.
they have legal
It's a
deniability.
maybe. It's a maybe.
It's
like,
a
that line's
they
cool
can
as
say
fuck.
whatever
It's a
they want
maybe.
after maybe. They could say maybe
Exactly.
Metal Sonic's the
Maybe
strongest in
Metal Sonic
fiction.
likes
Maybe.
girls.
Metal Sonic's analysis was pretty cool. I might have to rewatch it to fully get a grasp on it, but it was I like.
Look at
I like
Trunks
some
in
of the
this
stuff they
frame.
said. That's my new profile picture right there. All right. I mean, roots and predictions. Who do we think's gonna win?
One guy is Galaxy and one guy is Multiversal.
Multi.
Well, if Metal Sonic's just wall level, then Cell's probably.
So I have a big problem with the fight, but I'll let it play out first before I say it.
Your reputation precedes you.
What did he say?
Bring me your strongest fight. Salutations, Dr. Robotnik. Salutations, Dr. Robotnik. Your reputation precedes you. Bring me your strongest fighter, or face... Then prepare to kneel before your master.
That's pretty good. I like this.
So one thing you'll notice is that Devil Artemis had a direction from Metal Sonic, right?
Yeah.
He said, I want to voice him because I have an idea. And I'll explain it later, but just listen to how he talks now compared to later.
Okay. Oh, that's dope. Love that.
Hardcore sock cannon.
The special beam cannon going through the black diamond is such a fun interaction. Now I like that because it's funny that Cell's just copying Vegeta. That works better than in Thor versus Vegeta. Also, not anymore is awesome. inaccurate. There wasn't like 16 different shots of metal wires attaching to different metal panels for like 10 seconds.
We did spend 43 seconds on it.
I like Cell using the android barrier. That's fun. Oh, he's just throwing.
He's throwing
the thing from Little Planet.
Yeah. Damn, that Meta Overlord did not last very long.
Alright, pause it real quick.
Fuck.
Oh!
That's not pausing.
Oh, I just got spoiled on something.
Right there, do it right there.
Right.
So
Right there.
pause it. When he's walking out the fire, I want to point out it's been 1 minute and 23 seconds of the fight, and Metal Sonic has not landed a single blow, and he's going to continue to not land a blow for another 10 to 20 seconds, which is my biggest issue. Half the fight, legitimately half the runtime of the fight, Metal Sonic is just getting his ass kicked and does nothing. Even Metal Overlord is just essentially one shot after hitting a barrier once.
But him saying not anymore was pretty hard though.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of.
Also, if you pause in the fire here, the little silhouettes of the fire show Semi and Imperfect Cell, like the outline of the fire.
Oh, that's good. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
I already possess his data. Observe chaos.
Ultimate life form. That's my buddy. You can call me.
The amazing life form.
It'll take more than that to kill me, puppet! I know. Now I know everything about you. Insect.
Ah, I love that. That's awesome.
So do you get what I mean by the way he's talking?
No, not really.
He's talking and moving like Cell after he copied his biodata. He even did Cell's famous finger point to his
Oh,
head.
I didn't realize he was talking like Cell too. That's
Oh.
fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Damn, they going crazy.
There
Cell
goes
is
the
just-
planet.
Oh no!
Don't you dare.
I love that reference.
Wait, I might have missed it. Where did the mini Metal Sonics come from?
He summoned
Like
them
a
and
little back
copy.
during the Cell Juniors.
Oh, yeah, there
right
they
there.
are. How did I... You were distracting me, Flying Fight, talking to me about how Cell was... Metal was Cell.
Metal Cell?
Metal was Cell. It's the name of the song. I feel like, did Fan Battle do this?
I don't think so.
This exact interaction?
This is like an obvious interaction, though.
They flipped this line so bad here.
The one he just said?
He said,
Oh.
they fucked up that line so bad.
What line did this... Which one are
He
you referring
says,
to?
he says, Cell says, I am not just the strongest warrior in the world. I am all of them. And in Metal Sonic responds, if you are, so am I. And I said, no, he says, if you are all of them, then so am I. And I'm like, the much cooler line would have been, if you are all of them, then they are all of me, as a reference to his song. Is what
I mean, that would have been pretty dope. That would have been pretty dope.
It would have been a dope reference.
Now, what attack is he using here? Was that just a generic blast?
Yeah, he could do that.
I mean, I know he can do it, but...
No, I'm making a joke because I'm like, I don't know. It's not even the color of any blast
I'll
anyone
crush
ever
you.
does.
That's nice. I feel like it's a missed opportunity to
think
have him
the
do the
Kasa-
Kikoho and the Kamehameha just to have him kill Cell with a random attack, but that's a nitpick. That fight was dope as fuck.
Yeah, I will say, right after the fight, for our reaction, we ran it right back. We were just like, nah, we gotta watch that again.
Yeah.
Well, that world's fucked. Our bad.
Cell may have been one of the greatest threats in Dragon Ball Z.
You're gonna laugh here,
His
Sherm.
greatest creation ultimately proved too much for him. Let's break this down into 4 categories: strength, speed, abilities, and adaptation.
Okay, so what does Cell take? This
You'll
is
see.
You'll
You'll
find
see.
out.
You'll
You'll
see.
find out.
You'll
Please,
see.
Wait,
please
see
just
what he
play
thinks.
it.
Okay, wait. Okay,
Just
now
play it.
clearly it's gonna be one of them. I gotta make a prediction.
Well, that world's
We're not. We can't.
Cell may have been one of
Yeah,
the
we ain't
greatest
gonna
creators of
reveal.
Dragon Ball Z, but Eggman's greatest creation ultimately
You're gonna
failed.
shit yourself on the spot when you
Let's break
realize.
this down into
Okay, it can't be strength or speed or abilities or it's all metal. What would
You're gonna find out.
Just play. Just
Strength,
play.
speed. It can't be strength. They brought up Solaris. It can't be speed. They brought up Solaris. It can't be. It's gotta be abilities or adaptation.
You'll see.
Oh, someone in chat said when Metal fires the red laser, he's using the red
Yes.
Chaos Emerald.
It
So he's
That-
firing a
yeah.
laser through the Chaos Emerald.
The last ability is always the one that explains why they win. So Metal Sonic has to have. So I guess it's just abilities by process of elimination. I'm not sure how that works, but
Let me
I'll
just
be-
tell you,
You
you've
will
already
see.
said which to me specifically, you've already said which category Cell takes. And it was an argument you brought up during the very first debate.
I guess it would be abilities because I brought up some of his
strength,
hacks.
speed, abilities, and adaptation.
Okay,
First up,
just
who
watch.
was the strongest? Well, it's no surprise that any version of Cell was gonna be way more powerful than base Metal or Neo. Even just using the manga, blowing up a solar system is far beyond the level of power output Metal can match.
Without his stronger forms. With them, the power gap entirely reversed. Not only could Metal match Cell's solar system busting or scaling from Frieza, but he could surpass it with the universe-destroying power of the Emeralds.
But hang on,
That's
Wiz.
fair.
Those Namekians said that Cell was strong enough to threaten a universe on his own.
They did, but they didn't specify how, and there's nothing suggesting he could destroy it in one go, especially since it's only brought up theoretically and without any time frame.
Even being generous and assuming he could just blow it up, final bosses like Time Eater and Solaris can destroy the
Okay, now hang on. Scaling Cell to Toei Broly, you just shouldn't do in general. But if you did do it, Toei
Right.
Broly has like multiple universal arguments, so that would. This black box didn't need to be here. That just opens a can of worms they don't want to get into with Broly scaling.
Well, if you scale
Fair.
Toei Broly, you know,
Yes.
Metal Sonic gets all that multiversal shit.
I guess that's fair, yeah.
For their speed, you might think that was an easy win for Metal.
And his max speed in his super form, he should be comparable to entities like the Time Eater, who in Shadow Generations can destroy entire universes in seconds. By using the radius of the observable universe, we can estimate the Time Eater's destructive wave traveled at about 180 quadrillion times faster than light.
Certainly impressive, but let's compare that to Goku's flight from heaven to hell shortly after the Cell games, which covered roughly a universe in distance at approximately 180 quadrillion times faster than light.
Hey, just like Time Eater. The difference, though, was that Goku was in his base form, way slower than Super Saiyan 2 Gohan or Super Perfect Cell.
Factoring in Super Saiyan multipliers, Super Perfect Cell can move upwards of 100 times faster than that, and so 100 times faster than Metal Sonic. Somehow, Cell takes the edge in speed.
That's my goat. That's what I've been saying for this. Let me bring up. Okay, so we need to get specific about this. They brought up 180 quadrillion. Let me double check. It was
Yes.
actually 180 quadrillion.
180 quadrillion times.
Okay, being 100 times faster than that would make him 18 quintillion times the speed of light. Let's bring up my arguments for how fast Cell is in the Cell versus Diaboromon cast. And we will see that I estimate, without using the Heaven feat, just by estimating how much stronger he would be than the Goku feat back in, calced by Bardock versus Omni-Man. Where is it? Oh no, it's not sorted by alphabetical, it's sorted by recency. No. I need to sort these by name. Alright, name. Cell versus Diaboromon. Or Diaboromon versus Cell.
Are you finding the stream itself?
No, I'm finding the scan I have because
Okay.
it's my scan.
It should be in the FPC server.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it on my files.
Here, I'll find it. I could probably find it faster.
He's never been more validated in his life.
Piccolo scale. View, medium icons, Piccolo scaling. What did I say?
You said 28.8 quintillion C.
That's consistent, baby. We got consistent quintillion speed scaling for Perfect Cell. That's what I'm
And it's funny
talking
because
about.
in the cast, you
Respectable.
said that Metal Sonic was 73 quadrillion C.
All right, so I may have lowballed his speed, but that's because Death Battle lowballed their speed. That's what I got from Bowser versus Eggman. So they have a little over 2.5. They have increased his speed, but it doesn't matter. Oh, it's because it wasn't under C, it was under P for Perfect Cell. Yeah, let me my funny image from
No, get out of here with that shit. No, do
Oh no.
Wait,
Oh,
what,
no.
do not bring in the boys are back right now.
what we're talking about. I'm just gonna post on I'm just
I have
gonna
that image too, by the way.
properties. Look at
Come
this.
outside.
Look at
Oh,
say,
no.
for the audience. Here's my speed scaling where I said that. Oh man, this sucks. Yeah, over 4,000 times faster than Alien X, and over 300 times faster than Metal Sonic. So I was
When
on
it
the
comes to
right.
calculability,
Man, this is awful. I'm gonna take this away from the viewers. They can't see shit. But yeah, watch Cell versus Diaboromon to prove that Death Battle agrees with my objectively correct Cell speed scale. You heard it here first. I said.
Oh, you
I said.
purposefully put on that scan he's faster than.
Yeah, purposely on the scan, I said he was faster than Alien X and Metal Sonic.
I
Fair.
love how
Screw that in
with
there,
calculable ends. In all fairness.
I have
I
been.
love how anytime I stream stuff with Sherm, like randomly, I'll look over at my tab to see if anyone needs me, and I have currently 32 messages. I'm like, fuck.
Oh my goodness.
God damn.
I was banging the drum of quintillions times faster than Light Cell before it was cool.
That's
this was
fair.
all
It's funny
me.
because Cell with those numbers would probably be faster than Diaboromon, but it'd be hard to calc when you don't know the size of anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Somehow, Cell takes the edge in speed.
And Death Battle doesn't use infinity arguments a lot. They said recently it's because it'd be boring to hear it every fight, which is true.
Yeah.
Many of the same powers, like telekinesis, force fields, and energy projection.
Plus, personally, I would also rather do it unless stats are not really a factor in like the debate. I think skipping it is fine, but most of the time you should put numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of matchups, they're usually close enough to speed where you can just like say one thing and then everyone's like, yeah, okay.
I mean, I appreciate them bringing up finite ends because that's interesting. I love seeing the calcs, but I would also like to bring up the infinite, at least in like a black box or something. I don't want it to be like ignored entirely.
They did.
Well, then that's good. Then we're good. Then everyone's happy. Why didn't Cell do that to? Why didn't Metal do that to Cell in the fight?
The
That
Shadow
would've been
DNA
hella
wasn't
funny.
talking. The Vegeta DNA took over.
Yeah. Wait, how would spatial distortion affect healing?
Because it's distorting space, so he couldn't be able to like put his cells there.
That doesn't. I don't get that logic. I'll be honest.
That's fair.
It's one of those esoteric powers you just can't think around.
Cell's genetic instincts allowed him to best Earth's most skilled warriors back to back to back.
Metal may have copied Eggman's brains, but he definitely isn't as good of a fighter. The Sonic heroes haven't trained like the Z fighters, and Metal's been beaten by all of them a bunch of times. So all that in mind, abilities is roughly a wash.
Okay, so Cell does get some credit in this category.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
I
that's
guess-
just because
I
there's
guess
one main one.
they were mostly calculating like Cell's or Metal's abilities pre-adaption.
Yeah.
Cell's ability to physically absorb an opponent is primarily viable.
This right here, this black box, is pretty much saying that that generator that he absorbs would not work. So fuck you for that argument in Cell vs. Diaboromon.
Daizenshu claims Perfect Cell gains 1718's infinite energy generators after absorbing them. However, not only does Cell tire against Goku, I had an argument against it, but I forgot what it was. So I just
Me
know you're
too.
wrong, even if I don't need to explain
Yeah.
why.
I mean, they're disagreeing with you. Oh, so you're saying Death Battle's researchers are a bunch of chumps?
Yes.
All right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All right, chat.
It
We are
happens.
dropping our first Death Battle debunk video in a couple weeks. Hopefully, y'all are all looking forward to it.
Through only a few seconds of direct eyesight, something he could easily accomplish during a time stop.
And
Let's
putting
do
it on Cell means he wouldn't just get Cell's powers, but the powers of all of the Z Warriors too.
Remember, Metal's copying applies to abilities that fundamentally affect his own biology, like Espio's invincibility or Chaos's liquid body. Nothing Cell has
That was
is
Chaos's
off
liquid
limits,
body. Okay,
especially
I
given
didn't
all
know
of
that.
Cell's powers were genetically encoded in the first place, quite literally biodata.
Cell's Saiyan power-ups? Copied. Cell's regeneration? Copied. Cell's key techniques? Believe it or not, copied.
Chaos Emeralds are described as being able to produce life energy, similar to Ki. So there's a precedent for him being able to replicate Cell's power set. And at this point, there's nothing stopping Metal from, say, stopping time and using a Kamehameha to vaporize him. at
I
a
love that
similar
clip
level.
of Metal
Just
Sonic
like
just
Gohan,
fucking
there's a
running
precedent
over
for him being
Sonic.
able to replicate Cell's power set. And at this point,
Sonic's like, "You want to go, buddy?"
there's nothing stopping Metal from
I love that.
stopping time and using a Kamehameha to vaporize
Do you know what I
him
think
at a
would have been
similar
really,
level.
really
Just like
funny?
Gohan did.
Just like as a hypothetical.
Yeah.
So you know how you were saying like Cell could just repeatedly blow himself up to get stronger?
Yes.
I like the idea of Metal copying the biodata, seeing Cell do it, and they just go back and forth with that.
Mel just starts blowing himself up too.
Yes.
Dude, you motherfucker. If you think about it, Metal will use Shadow's powers the most, so technically Shadow carried Metal to victory. God damn. We cannot give credits to Edgy the Hedgy, Zio, you know this.
Why is that?
Cell died. Wiz, you get it? CD? Wiz, where you go? Come on back. Next time.
But they're not even gonna give Mel the respect of announcing that he's the winner. They're just gonna leave
Oh
him.
no, because he's a bum.
No.
He's just like, look at him. He's staring at the screen. He's waiting for it. He's waiting for
Yeah,
it
right.
and not giving him the satisfaction.
He's a bum. We don't give bums the time of day.
I mean, he won fair and square.
Yeah, he won against another bum.
Whoa. Let's relax. Let's
My
relax
agenda's
on
gone
the
too far. My
perfect.
agenda's gone too far. I apologize.
Let's relax on the
Okay,
perfect cell
Guys,
slam.
I gotta bounce. All right.
I
I'll talk to
also
you guys
think I
later.
gotta get going soon.
See ya, Flan.
That was an awesome fight. One of probably that animation was so good. Devil Artemis cooked. He made a great episode. Love that.
Yes.
I do have to
And
get
he
going.
voiced both characters.
He did voice both characters. This was a great send off. This was super good for him.
Yeah, I can't wait for
sure.
his Mac versus Hippo. I'm going to be there when it drops.
Yeah, I do have to get going, so I'm just gonna end the stream, guys. Thanks for watching.